for the mere reason that it is too far-reaching, wide-ranging, and it will make the land court an easy tool for exploitation of the less informed, less educated, and economically less able. Mr. Speaker, I do not need to go far in my argument to support my objection. I only need to quote what was said by Yang Amat Berhormat in this August House on 26 November 2013. I only need to quote what he said to support my objection of this view. And I will quote. That's what he said. Any consideration to change the customary law so as to allow NCR to be freely transacted as advocated by Honourable Member must take into account the adverse impact on the social cohesion and harmony of the village and longhouse community, as well as on the longer-term financial implication of the individual and his family who sells his land for usually a meager sum of money and become landless. That was what he said. Further on, he said, Yang Amat Berhormat, and he was then the Minister for Special Function. He went on, he said, we have so many schemes. Saukra scheme, Felda scheme, apa nama itu, Felkra scheme, Saukra scheme, etc. to improve and enhance the value of that land. If the native keep on to that land, they can realize its potential value. If it is left idle, of course they have no income from the land. We don't want the land to be idle, but to develop it so that have commercial value for the benefit. That is why we have Saukra Street scheme, Felda scheme, Felkra scheme, etc., etc. When he said this, Mr. Speaker, Yang Amat Berhormat was rejecting the motion, was referring to the motion tabled by Honourable Member for Bakalala. And therefore he was of the opinion that there's no need to impose the law to allow NCR land to be transacted. I'm surprised that less than a year he has changed his mind. His argument was so convincing that I was convinced then. But suddenly, less than a year, he changed his mind totally. And I can't see the rationale for such an amendment to open the whole floodgate to the transaction of NCR, providing no protection whatsoever to those less informed and less educated and those economically less able. Mr. Speaker, just now, when Honourable Member for Laya was tabling this bill, he said he advised the native not to freely sell their land, isn't it?
Yeah.
He said that, not to just for a meager sum freely sell their land. That also indicates there is some concern, very real concern, that once this law has been passed, the native may freely sell their land for a meager sum or very little purchase price, very low purchase price. But his concern was not reflected in the amendment bill. How many of the Dayaks, the native, will have the opportunity to hear his advice in this house? It was not protected, it was not provided in the bill. Therefore, I am saying that this bill is too far-reaching, wide-ranging, that we cannot support it because there is no safeguard against exploitation of the less informed. Mr. Speaker, under our land code, we have native land, non-native land, since decades ago. The purpose of native land and non-native land is so that the non-native cannot buy native land, Mr. Speaker. Why was that policy introduced? Because in the early days, the non-native are economically better off. And we want to safeguard the land, the right to the land of natives, avoiding the case whereby the non-native buy all the land from the native and rendering the native landless. And this policy we support. We support. The existence of the difference between native and non-native is because of the huge income inequality between the native and the non-native. But Mr. Speaker, nowadays such income inequality occurs even amongst the native. Previously it was inter-race, now it's intra-race. There are very rich natives, there are few very rich natives, there are many poor natives. As such a income inequality, disparity in income occurs even amongst the native. And if we allow native land to be transacted amongst the native freely, then it will come a time whereby the poorer natives will have no land. Imagine a person in the long house, he has about 5 acres, 10 acres of land. But he needs the money, he just sell it off. To another native, yes, it doesn't fall into the Chinese land, Chinese hand, doesn't matter. But it falls into another native from another area who has no use of the land but for investment purpose, for long-term investment purpose. Then what is going to become of that seller who has just sold his 5 acres of land or 10 acres of land? He has no land. He finished using his money, that's it. That's it. How is he going to farm, Mr. Speaker? After all, we are basically still agrarian society, whereby a lot of our people still rely on farming to earn a living. So there must be some safeguard, some prohibition in the transaction of the NCR land. So Mr. Speaker, sir, what is the role of the government? Is it to protect the weaker ones?
Or the rich ones?
Or to facilitate exploitation of the weaker ones by the stronger ones? I would say the role of the government should be the former, i.e., to protect the weaker communities. But it seems like with this amendment of the bill, the government is leaving all the rural people at the mercy of the rich, the powerful native. As such, Mr. Speaker, if this bill were allowed and there's no safeguard to protect the rural people, it will come a time whereby there will be very rich few very rich natives owning hundreds and thousands of acres of land, whereby the poor natives, they have no land to farm on. This will be exactly like what happened in China 50, 60 years ago, whereby all the peasants, the farmers work for the landlords. And the other thing, as such, we cannot support this bill unless there are some amendments to it.
Yes.
Unless there are amendments to this bill. So provide things like, you can't sell all your land. There must be some land for you to farm on. We are proposing four safeguards or 4 restrictions to these 3 transactions of NCR. Number 1, as was mentioned by Meradong, that such transaction be confined to penghulu jurisdiction, so that native from Laya or Bale cannot go all the way to Meradong to buy out their land and then leave it as an investment there. At least what the Chief Minister was saying, the community cohesion and harmony living of the community is not disturbed by the native from Laya. Now that is proposal number 1. Proposal number 2, if you are talking about enhancing the sale value of the land, there can be condition attached to transactions of land. For instance, Mr. Speaker, when government alienates land for industrial lots, they put a condition there. You must develop this land within 5 years of alienation. Now, Mr. Speaker, if a potential buyer has a plan to develop the land, he buys it from the NCR owner, he must have a plan to say, okay, I'm going to develop this land within 5 years. You just can't allow a situation whereby a rich native can go and buy all the lands and then keep it there for donkey years and do not develop it. That is in itself unproductive economically. So if you have certain plans to develop certain area, you can go and negotiate with the NCR owner. Say, I'm going to develop this land. I'm going to buy it from you with the development plan in hand. I can also offer a higher price to buy your land, rather than some ulu area, some rural area where the development will come in 30, 40 years. Buyer of land in those areas will pay peanuts for the land. It's only for long-term investment. It will not help the landowner in those areas. Therefore, I think for land transaction, our second proposal is that there must be a condition attached. If you sell the land or you buy the land from the NCR owner with the title, you must develop it within 3 years, 5 years. Failing which, you have breached the condition. And the land will be reverted to the landowner. Or the government give it back to the landowner. Number 3, I think different treatment should be given to category of land. We have town land, we have suburban land, we have country land. Country land likely not to be developed in 10 years, 20 years. Suburban land maybe yes. So different treatment should be given to this different category of land. What we are afraid of and what we object strongly is that rich native, super rich one, or big companies with native status come and grab the land, come and buy the land, buy the country land, hundreds and thousands of acres, and then put it there. A lot of them even have knowledge of how the government is going to plan. So before the development plan is announced, they go to those areas to buy the land at a very cheap price. And then when the road is built through the land appreciates in value by 10, 20 times. And these buyers will benefit, get a windfall. But the original landowner,
nothing. Sorry.
So therefore, there should be different treatment of this category of land, whether it's town, suburban, this country land. And number fourth proposal is as mentioned by Yang Brahma from Kidulong. There should be a native land board set up to monitor these transactions. We don't want what we have said. We don't want what happened at the end of the day. What we have said come true, whereby there will be thousands, hundreds of thousands of landless native in our state. It is no good for the native, it is no good for the state, it is no good for everybody. So therefore, what I'm saying is that the bill as it stands today is a tool of exploitation of the poor, the less informed, and the less educated. Nangka may not be agreeable with me. But he is educated. He said that there are a lot of the native are educated, yes, but still there are a lot more living in the rural area who are less educated, less informed. And it is the duty of the government to protect them. Yes. That's why, whatever said here, even if, Mr. Speaker, you keep nodding your head, agreeing with what I said. But I believe.
I'm signaling to you that you've spoken at
But you start nodding your head even about 15 minutes ago.
I'm signaling to you.
No, I mean, these are valid points. All right, but I believe Barisan National Government, being what they are, even if these are valid points, even if they realize that this bill has so much loophole for exploitation and abuses, they will still allow the bill to pass through. They will still bulldoze the bill. But I will just appeal and implore upon you, even if the bill will pass through, you still can formulate policies and guidelines to incorporate these suggestions, this protection. After all, as a government for the people, by the people, should be for the people. And the people is not confined to the rich and the powerful. The people includes the poor and the less educated. Yes. So that we propose the bill.